everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So if you are new here, we talk about all things homesteading, homemaking, and just the journey to a slower and more simple life. And in today's video, I am so excited because, as you can see, I am in kind of a different location, and that is outside. And we're gonna get started on making some garden beds. Getting stuff planted outside is just a little bit away, and I am so very excited to jump into that season. I have so much planned and so many goals. I'm really happy to share this project because I think it is something that could make building raised beds a lot easier for a lot of people. I really kind of brainstormed how I wanted to go about this, and right now my budget is very low, and I was thinking, what can I do? So I came up with this way of doing it, and it's very I guess beginner builder friendly because it involves basically nothing, because no screwing, no nailing, nothing at all. Of course, building beds like this makes them last a much shorter period of time than if you go other routes to building a garden bed, but for a very beginner or somebody who just wants to get something in the ground and might have a quite limited budget, I think you'll enjoy this inspiration. So I got all the supplies too at the local Home Depot, which is not like the best place to get lumber and things like that, but I just went there because that's the local kind of chain that I think would be familiar with a lot of people. Also, things like Lowe's, stuff like that, would be familiar with a lot of people. And I'll even go into what everything cost for the project, just so you have an idea of what it might cost you. Of course, you can always go with the in-ground bed kind of idea instead of raised beds. The reason I'm going to be doing raised beds is I am going to be putting my garden beds on my mother's front lawn, and so there's two reasons. One is, even if I wanted to do in-ground beds, the soil here is so extremely crazy rocky that it would be way too much labor. Like, honestly, I've even just trying to drive like 2 posts in the ground is absolutely crazy hard work because it's just so rocky. I live in Maine. I live close to the coast, so just really rocky soil we deal with. Secondly is because, like I said, this is on my mother's property and it's on her front yard, so I want it to be something that once I finally have my own property, I can leave as a gift for her to be able to use for growing food if she'd like, but also for ornamental, for flowers, so it's just can be a very pretty kind of landscape, very pretty landscape design for her. So of course there's always going to be a cheaper or more efficient way of doing anything, but this is just to help get those wheels turning for you, and hopefully you can take some kind of an idea for your garden beds from this video. So with that intro out of the way, let's get right into it. The design I had laid out is to have 3 4x8 beds that are going to be about 10.5 inches tall each. And so the way I am going to go about that is I got these concrete blocks that have slits in them so that you can just place the boards right in. Like I said, you don't have to screw or anything, it's just placing boards in. Something I've never tried before. I have built beds before, but this is new, this is something different. So for all the cinder block bed corners, I got 24 of those, and they came to a little over $80. And then for the boards, I didn't get cedar or anything really nice. Like I said, I was keeping it cheap, just not pressure treated. I got 12 2x6s that are 8 feet and 12 2x6s that are 4 feet. and so that will make 3 beds. All of that together was about $120 for all the boards. So if I'm doing math right, the project in total cost me somewhat over $200. So really not terrible for raised beds. Raised beds can cost quite a bit more. Of course, you can save by sourcing your materials from secondhand or just from different sources, getting more crafty, coming up with different ideas to do things. But this was what I had to work with right now, and I'm quite happy with it. So now all that's left to do is to get them together. Okay, so it is a new day, and what we have done after I have made the beds is I went and I purchased a loom by the yard. And how I did that is I actually got my partner's sister's truck to use, and I just went to a supply store for stuff like gravel, etc., and just asked them to fill the back of the bed with loom. We got about a yard, and 1 yard of the loom filled 2 of the 4x8 beds that I made. A loam soil is basically a soil that is equal parts silt, sand, and clay type of soil. This, I find, is the best base for filling a garden bed. It makes it so it's not too dense, but not too light and sandy. It really is a good base for most things that you're going to want to grow. In addition to the loom, though, I got today some compost, so I'm going to amend the loom with some of that. And then I'll have 2 beds ready to plant in. So I'm going to plant some seeds today that can be planted before our last frost date. I believe the last frost date is predicted to be around the beginning of May, so we're getting close to be able to put the rest of our stuff outside, but not yet. But let's go add our manure to our loom and get these 2 beds ready. I'm so excited. So if you're wondering why I watered the bed when there is nothing currently in it growing, that is because the soil itself is alive, and the last thing I want is for that to fully dry out, because if that happens, that's how soil becomes dirt, because for things to live, they need water. You could see that even just the loom I had put in yesterday looked very light, and it was kind of dry. It looked more sandy than I'd like. Right now I'm gathering just branches that have fallen to put in the bottom of my taller beds. quick garden update. We have got the 2 4x8 beds filled, and they're all nice and together and watered and ready to put some seeds in. I have not done that yet. My next task that I've been currently doing is collecting branches that have fallen off the trees. That's one thing about Maine, is after a winter all kinds of stuff gets knocked off the trees during the storms in the winter, so we have plenty of branches. So as a way to use them, I'm collecting them and putting them in the bottom of the garden beds. Not only does that make there be a use for all of that wood that falls, but it really helps with filling the beds so you don't have to spend as much on soil, and it'll break down over time and just add beneficial things to the soil itself. I'm also cleaning out the herb bed that has some leaves and stuff. I'm cautious when it comes to cleaning out beds because the leaves and things like that are an environment for beneficial insects to have their early development, but at a certain point you just have to say, I want to clean it out. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I can see all the perennial herbs that are coming up. I will go show you. Under here we have our oregano plant. Oregano grows very quickly, spreads, so you don't really want to put it anywhere where that you're not okay with taking over a space. But I am very okay with oregano taking over a space because I use it a lot, and so I'm so happy when I see this come up. This is its 3rd year, I believe, growing. We also have some thyme coming back in, and over here we have chives, which are delicious, and they have the most pretty purple flowers that the bees just love. So you can honestly grow chives just for something beautiful too. I've decided to come sit in the car just to be able to finish off this video because it is a nice day and a lot of people are out and doing stuff, so somebody's got a chainsaw going. So just to get away from the noise. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it can help inspire you, whether you're super new to gardening or just have a very limited budget. It can help show you that there's all kinds of different options. So if you did it exactly the way I did it, a 4x8 garden bed to completely have ready to put plants in would be about $110. There's definitely cheaper ways to do it, and there's definitely much more extravagant ways to do it. There's no denying that the economy is crazy right now. Everything costs a lot, and you can definitely, like I said, do it much cheaper. But for the average person who wants to put maybe just the average amount of personal effort into it, I think that's a good demonstration. So I'm definitely excited to bring you along with the rest of this gardening season because this is just the beginning. If you like this video and would like to see more, please do subscribe because I have so much planned and in store that I wish to share with you, and so please do consider it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!